I'll get you two up here to pay attention. All right, call to order. Order and approval of agenda. You have the 4-4 in addition to the consent, and you have the 5-2 in addition to personnel. Right? Okay. All right. Anybody, anything else?
Motion to approve is amended.
Motion to approve. Second, all in favor? All right. Board of Education presentation? Nobody? Consent agenda. Do they have anything in there they wanted to pull or any questions?
Any questions on the, to make sure you guys were okay and understood the online solicitation, Amazon. We're trying to just kind of minimize those, get those board approved so everybody knows how many we're gonna have a year. We don't have 9,000 of them running a year. Give teachers just kind of an idea of when to run them, what we're asking for in those solicitations, because it is really already a policy. I just don't think I don't think everybody understood that that was a policy we already had about getting fundraisers approved through the board, so. Yeah.
Is there something that says like things that they can ask, like what they get from the school, like what the school pays for? Like any specifics on, I mean, I know they can ask anything, you know.
So they get
of
money
course,
every
they
year,
say no, but-
they get money every year, for supplies that they can spend, so they got, what did they get, 300 this year? I think that's what it was, I think it was 300 this year, 300, is that what they gave this year? 300.
Yeah, it's in the past, it's been.
So they get $300 every year.
Yeah.
For, at their discretion to, whatever they need for their classrooms, and these are just supply things, not curriculum, that's a separate.
Yeah.
But they get that for themselves. And then, I think a lot of times people just ask for donations and stuff, so we're trying to get them to, there are things that we wanna do that are gonna cost money, like a theme day or whatnot, that we will work through us on those processes, and then we keep them and we can recycle them and things like that, and then we have a process and stuff in the building that we can use and reuse, and we're not doing this, you know, each year buying different things, and one room gets this and one room doesn't, or one grade gets this and one doesn't, so it's just gonna help with kids' opportunities being more equitable in the building, and also then we kind of have a handle on all the asks we're doing for our community and our parents, and there's a lot of asks going on that I don't think we were all aware of that were going on, so just help kind of allow us to do that, but at least have some understanding and knowledge of what's going on, so just wanted to get on that one. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent.
All right, motion to consent. Second right here, all in favor? 5.0, employment of personnel. You have executive session you need?
If you guys do,
Yes.
okay.
I think so.
5 minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's good. 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Take that to find the paper. There it is. I was looking at that, sorry. Mr. President, I move we go into executive session to discuss personnel pursuant to non-elected personnel exception under Coma in the open meeting. We're resuming in the boardroom at 6:15 with Faith Lori present.
Okay, we have a motion, and a second, all in favor?
Alright, yeah, motion to approve the personnel report is presented.
I'll second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Administrators, do you have any questions for administrators? Not much going on in the summer?
Hello.
I don't believe it's slow.
I'm just,
Because early football practice is amazing. The kids love it. So do the parents. Oh, I didn't forget about you having to drive Cole probably.
I make them meet with me once a week, so they get to hang out with me for 4 hours a day, or 4 hours a week, and they love those meetings. Chris especially.
Convincing.
Anything to share? How's summer weights and conditioning going? Good, a lot of kids showing up?
Yeah, we got pretty solid group of kids coming in on a regular basis, so we got plenty of things going. Chris has put out the list of events for the summer, and it's hopping.
Yeah, like we got wrestling going on tonight, basketball league finished up at the end of June for boys and at our place. Volleyball camp next week and high school football camp this week, junior high football camp next week, junior high wrestling next week. So,
I got Mike all moved in. Got his office over there, hanging things on the wall, got it
Things up.
painted.
He's got more on his wall than Kyle has.
Taking Kyle, you're just a big little. I think he's got a few pictures of his kids on the wall, yeah. So, anything else, Lord Lee?
Have kinder camp at the end of the month.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All of those are coming in.
When will we find out teachers at Carbondale?
We have those, we haven't decided when we're gonna send that out yet, but
When are you sending yours out, Lord Lee?
So if they have paid all their fees, first grade and second grade, and incoming third graders have already received
Oh, they've
those.
already got theirs.
Kindergartners went out today if they've completed their ASQ.
I love the incentives.
That's mean.
That's how you do things at different days. You wanna know your teacher, you gotta fill out the
And if you
ASQ.
didn't, they sent an email, we sent an email today that says, here's the link to complete your ASQ. And we just did all of that this morning.
So the pressure's on Carbondale.
All right, we'll get to it.
tomorrow,
You just
in the next week or so.
Good answer.
same with schedule?
Same as, yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they're good.
Way to go.
Earliest ever.
No. Hey, I tried to phone.
On it.
That was kind of good stuff.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Capital outlay update,
We've got, we're waiting for dirt work for the parking lot. We've got some new lights in the parking lot already. Windows are being installed as we speak. Carpet, everybody's carpet done?
Mine finished today.
Okay,
In end of the week, ours should be done.
okay. Robbie, anything going, is your concrete pad in?
Yes.
Yes, that's done, okay.
new tanks are out there, new system should be put in by the.
Your concrete should be going in Monday. It's your place.
Waiting on asphalt sealant. Right.
Oh, asphalt sealant should be coming in next week too. We did have a little lightning storm. We are finding all sorts of fun things that need fixed. We're hoping a lot of it though is just some things we can fix in panels and some fuses and things right now. Got two of those large fans that aren't working right now. So we've had an electrician come in and assessing everything as well as our adjuster. So we'll put it to insurance if it's way above our deductible. And good thing is it's staying with BMC and not gonna roll over into our new property insurance. So that might work out okay. But we'll get that all assessed and I'll let you know the total outcome of the damage from the lightning. We're also gonna do some proactive preventative things. I don't know why this hasn't been done before, to find some better ways to ground these storms, because I think this is like the 4th or 5th time I've now been told that we've had lightning over there.
Was it the same day, to the day last year?
Yes, it was. That's what Greg said when he was looking up the, we have bad luck on that. Maybe
Yeah,
we
let's
just,
unplug everything.
yeah, just unplug everything.
Everything.
Shit, breakers up there. Yeah.
Hold the-
So
hold the meter.
I'll keep you posted on those fixes that we're gonna have to have. Otherwise, moving along, capital outlay. got, some new railings on our bleachers at Carbondale. Floors are all are your floors all done? I know it smelled really bad over at the high school.
First gym floor,
Okay, gym floors.
CAC gym
Gym
floors.
floors, okay, good.
Yeah, we'll be back on ours tomorrow.
Not quite,
No, we had issues with
oh
ours.
yeah, you had that.
Our laminate or the sealant
Sealant,
pulled up, so they're gonna have to come in, I think, later
sand down.
and sand it down
Okay.
and then re-put a thing on perhaps, I'm not sure when, they talked about maybe even just over Christmas.
Okay. Yes.
Are we putting lights in the whole parking lot at the high school?
No, we're just fixing some of the ones that weren't working and, and then moving a couple. Which should help it's pretty bright out there right now. Go out in that front
The new
parking
ones are
lot,
bright.
it looks really good now. Yes,
So I can see when I turn it down at night.
I hope so. If not, we're gonna have to fix that pole light down there.
The road?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, the lights, but
the
Chris
east,
and I have had this conversation many times. I finally figured out the light bulb's out, Chris, so I should have told you maybe.
but it's on that pole though, on the east
Yeah.
side, yeah.
You can only do one set of lights.
Yeah, the southeast side of the football field?
We got those ones fixed.
No, we didn't get an update on those.
I thought they were done.
They're not in yet.
That's crazy.
I, of course.
Or will they be here before football season?
That's highly doubtful.
At least this
Maybe we should
go ahead and
Kyle's
order
gonna
another
leave,
one just to have on hand. It's,
QR code for the feedback, if we can get that.
All right, we good? KSB policy clarification, wanna go through all that?
Yes, so the first one is I left it in there. Kylie had asked a little bit about this visitors to the school and, when visitors to the school, are required, or those that are not law enforcement, not required to provide their identification, names, emails, and all those things. So what we learned was they have to give us their name, they don't have to give us all that other stuff, and we don't have to identify them as police officers. This is due to a case in Wichita, what's that minor league baseball team called there? Surge at that facility. They made everybody that was carrying wear some sort of a bracelet. And it was really all law enforcement or off-duty law enforcement. And so now all these law enforcement were walking around marked with these. And so a big case came out of it about these officers, for their protection and their safety, that they don't have to be, wearing some identification that says, I'm carrying in your facility. So I think this is a law enforcement protection policy, and it's made its way obviously to schools as well.
I guess I worry about the other side of that.
Yes, I know, that's the one I told you about, so there's not a whole lot we can do about it, all they have to do is tell us their name and,
So this is, we have to, I mean, it's.
yeah. I'm hoping we're not gonna have any issues with that.
Right, I know, you don't until you do,
Yeah.
but
So it happens.
it's just, that's ridiculous. And most law enforcement officers, I wouldn't think would have any issue identifying themselves.
And I think most of ours probably will, I do. It's really, I think the bigger worry is people who aren't.
No, that's exactly what I
Yeah,
mean.
but I don't feel like they're gonna say anything to us anyway that they're even carrying. I think they're just gonna conceal and they're probably not gonna let us know they're carrying, but I don't know. That was kind of the conversation we had. Kyle, did you gather anything else from that conversation at the law conference?
That's pretty much the gist of it. It's like you just figure out how to deal with it.
I feel like I got a lot of clarification other than their name,
Your deal, Bill.
they can carry, and we don't mark them as carrying.
Right, and I'm fine with
Or as
all
law
of that.
enforcement or anything, yeah. But the other side of that is anybody that's carrying, identifying as carrying,
Yes.
yeah. There are detection things out there for those things, but I don't know if you wanna put those things in our schools. the others, sorry, I'll move on. The others are all three technology, acceptable use, computer use, device use, policies that, Mr. Lohmeyer and I talked about kind of revamping a little bit. We went back to some original ones that we had because they had been edited over time and going back to the original policies. So IIBF and IIBG, we went back to the original KASB approved policies. And then what Andy did was then in the district acceptable use policy, reference all of those in one place in the acceptable use policy. So it wasn't so redundant. We had all these different technology policies out there. And so he just tried to reference all of them in the acceptable use policy, but then go back to the real legalese language that's in the IIBF and the IIBG instead of editing those. I got nervous if we edit those, then that's what our attorneys give us. They use the legal language, they use the mays and the shalls and the things that need to be in there that are appropriate for, they use case law to make these and write these policies. So I want to make sure that those are intact within our acceptable use policy. Andy can reference all of those here. Do you want to say anything else about that?
I mean, pretty much exactly what you said. The acceptable use policy is heavy IIBG and IIBF, like copied and pasted from it, and then a handful of additional district policies that helps our administrators in their building, like cyberbullying and student and staff BYOD, and just some local things that we wanted, and that has been in it for a long time. So, but yeah, they cross-reference both ways to make sure they're matched up, and so they're in sync with each other.
I just clean it up a little bit.
9 total policies are referenced in the one district policy, so, or acceptable use policy.
So we just need approval of those to, 2 of them will kind of go back to the way they were, and then just to make the other one a more generalized reference, so.
I'm glad you added that cyberbullying in there.
You need one for all 4?
Yes, we could just get some action to approve
Make a
all of this,
motion
because
to
we did not
approve
approve KM last.
the KM, IIBF, IIBG, and district acceptable use policy.
We got a motion, will be speaking.
I'll say.
Second,
I read it.
all in favor? Thank you. Okay, that brings us to budget closure and revenue neutral rate.
All I need to do is, inform you that we will send off all of our R&R information to Osage County, that is our home county, to, place our revenue neutral information. We don't have to do that to all of our counties. We do get R&R information from each county that we reside in, but Osage is our home county, so that's where that will go. All this is requesting, just approval, that if we need to, exceed R&R, if we can. That doesn't mean we're doing that yet. We haven't even built the budget yet. We've just closed it out. So this just gives us that permission and that authority to do that if we have to do that. Once we build the budget, we will then bring the budget to you in September for approval. In August, you will get all the needs assessments to review and look through, and then we'll have our budget hearing in September and have a budget ready for you then. So I'll update you as we start building the budget. Close out went good. Greenbush came in and overlooked all those numbers and made sure our transfers were the way they were and our percentages went where they were, and we rolled over some cash to start the year with, and we felt pretty good. So our transfers were good and feel pretty good about the school year. And we had some money left over, so to roll into next year. So we put a lot in spend, transferred a lot to spend.
Yeah.
So this does not mean we're going over revenue neutral. This means that in August we'll have a
Yes,
budget
this
to make
means
the
we are
determination.
sending a document
Making sure
that is
that's
required to go to
clear.
the county, correct, yep. Go ahead, Justin, say
No,
that,
that's all. I
say that again.
making sure that folks know we're not saying we're exceeding it. This is just a request to be able to exceed it. And then in August, we will see the budget and make that determination at that point.
Yes, correct,
Not exceeding it, saying that we may.
Just have the option.
Correct.
correct.
Need a motion?
Nobody panic yet?
Nope.
Okay.
You don't need
You don't have to take action, you
Okay,
don't,
good,
you don't
we're
have to
good.
take action, nope.
Okay, handbooks, questions on handbooks, anybody?
Just as we look at these, I would like to see, it's like right now, I know we're talking reconfiguration, so I don't want to confuse anything, but as we look at that, can we say like SFT elementary school / OAC? And SFT preschool / SAC? Like I noticed in the handbooks, some of them we already say SFT JH, maybe that middle school is more appropriate, I don't want to go buy signs. But like instead of CAC students at the top, like on the header, just put like SFT JH or middle school, but like we have SFT preschool here. And the only, Overbrook might be, and I like the little, the graphic that we have for Overbrook, so I don't think we need to take Overbrook off that, I think we just say SFT elementary and then OAC or Overbrook. Is that fair, or does that seem?
I like it.
No matter.
Santa Fe Trail Elementary, Santa Fe Trail Junior High,
I
Santa
would
Fe Trail High
Middle
School.
think junior high or middle school.
Middle probably more
Whatever.
So
appropriate.
we use a junior high as the 7th and 8th.
Me too.
Carbondale 10 is the whole building,
This is
so.
gonna possibly change.
Well, that's what I said, I don't wanna go buy signs and do anything, but I
are
just
there
look at.
different policies in place for the junior high than there are for the middle school?
No.
It's all the same handbook, right?
I do wanna ask
The
Amy though,
CAC handbook,
Yeah.
all the same for the
No,
whole
no,
building.
no,
Yeah.
for the junior high.
Yeah,
if we're doing some official changes though to building names and things like that, attendance centers, I do think we have to go through a process to change all that, cause we put all that to the state, correct?
Well, their names, Scranton Preschool and Overbrook Attendance Center, Carbondale Attendance Centers, and Trail High School is all, the name is assigned to the building number with the department.
Right.
That's what they're.
But we have signage at Carbondale instead of Santa Fe Trail Junior High right on the gym.
Yeah.
So
So,
I'm not saying that we have to
unofficially,
buy
we can do
signs.
those
Yeah,
things,
I mean, leave OAC or SAC or whatever we need, but at least associate it, cause as we talk reconfiguration, I think that's,
And I
Makes
think if
more
we do
sense to me
reconfigure
than-
and change buildings, I think we can probably do some official name changing too with
yeah.
the Department of Ed.
That would help.
Cause we'll get new building numbers probably too if we do things like that.
Wouldn't they just put grades, like grades K through 3, Overbrook Attendance Center, grades K through 3, Carbondale Attendance Center, grades 4 through 8.
I think what he's wanting is the Santa
Same
Fe
picture.
I like the Santa Fe Trail, it's the community,
The
it's not the
unified.
Carbondale building that has this and the Overbrook, this is the whole
Santa Fe
community's elementary
But
school,
you
this is the whole
could do Santa
community's
Fe Trail
middle school.
pre-K through 3 or whatever
Yeah,
it is.
And again, it'd be silly, I think, right now to go make a bunch of changes because we don't know what's gonna happen in the next year, right? As far as what that looks like,
Just
but
for clarity, do you want everywhere it says OAC in my handbook to say, now say Santa Fe Trail Elementary now or moving forward?
Yeah, that's why I'm confused. Do you want to change the handbook
I think
for
just-
this year?
the cover page, if we, on that cover
Just the
page, I'm
cover page.
pulling it up, if we could, like where it says,
Yeah, it's a new little graphic.
Yeah.
I like
Overbrook
So-
Attendance Center.
This was,
yeah,
Got
like if we just somewhere in there was also like SFT elementary, like,
Got it.
I like the graphic, I think it's awesome.
Got it.
So even if it just went above the OAC part above Overbrook, there's something there.
where did you
And
get that?
Canada.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, I liked it, so I don't wanna change all of it, I like the Overbrook big, I just.
Okay.
The more I think as we
Just
start
start getting.
recognizing our buildings as elementary, junior high, or elementary, middle, high school, it's been high school, so it hadn't been an issue, but I just feel like it's more community and less town.
Yeah. You put a bolt man on there somewhere too, on the school, put a little graphic on it.
That's what I was gonna say on their shirt,
Usually a
it's
really
like
gross
Boltman.
picture of our building with my bird and car out front. I was like, this is disgusting.
Yeah, that's probably a good change, Laura.
We need it on both, the
Yeah.
athletic and the.
Well, yeah, on the, I think
Need to
the,
name the same.
so the header for the CAC one, I mean, the front page already has, and I guess the front page just says Carbondale Attendance Center Student and Family Handbook.
And this is.
And then it says Santa Fe Trail Junior High / Carbondale Attendance, so I mean, at least to me, it's
It's
there, maybe once we get done with reconfiguration, that's the time to draw a line, but I like that has the Santa Fe Trail. Like if we scroll down there, Amy, it has the, yeah, right underneath, nope, up a little bit, up a little bit, right there, right underneath the bold. That's a SFT Junior High / Carbondale Attendance Center that has the address, so to me, that just, we associate it more with the community building versus
The town.
just a town
Right.
arrangement center. Maybe not, I don't know.
I like it.
My thoughts.
It doesn't hurt anything to put in our
No, it's not.
handbook. No, it doesn't hurt nothing.
At least on the front.
It puts Santa Fe Trail on all of
One
them.
page.
Yeah, I don't know that they need to go through everything this year.
No, I wouldn't, no,
The front page, I
Front
think is a
pages.
good place to start.
Yeah, I
Might
like
be
it.
the only place.
For now.
I like it. I'm glad I already did it. I don't have to go change it.
No.
going jabs.
When I answered the phone, that's why I
Going
said
jabs.
Santa Fe Trail Preschool.
Yeah.
I don't say Scranton Attendance Center.
Anybody see anything else?
No.
Nothing?
I appreciate the colors and highlighting the changes for us. It makes it easier to go through, so we're not trying to go through.
And Justin, AI formatted it for us.
You don't give me the secrets.
Can we approve all the handbooks at one time or break this?
Did she have a question?
I have one question, and I apologize because I didn't dig real deep. Did we add the new, band thing in the junior high and the new band fee? Good question.
Oh,
And the handbooks? Cause I know in the board book, it wasn't in here on the.
On fees.
On fees.
No,
yeah.
I didn't put it there because we already approved it. So
Okay,
what we can do is, why don't we get that whole fees list, add band to it, and then add that sheet into your handbooks? You wanna do that? I'll just give you, after we do that fees sheet, you can just take that whole sheet and we'll stick it in there. And you'll have them all in there, it has lunch, technology, band, athletics, and just stick it in your handbooks, and I'll add band to it. Now, she had a kind of a form too that went with it, that we need to put in your handbook for just the band part. I think it's a. There's like a contract, you want that in the handbook too?
I would.
Just as like a sample, here's the contract, they can see it in there.
Really just because parents also. Do we have one for like the computers?
Well, we have the acceptable use, but they do that in enrollment online. They'll check a box to agree to that. Is that what you mean?
Well, I'm saying like in the handbook, like we don't have a form about that
No.
in there, so
No.
do we need one?
No, and maybe-
That's what I mean.
the form's separate.
Okay,
Yeah, cause like for equipment, for sports and stuff, we
Okay.
have.
okay, then we'll just put the list of fees in there. Okay, yep, I can do that, I'll put it in all of them. Yep.
I make motion to approve, the handbooks as presented.
Okay, so handbooks. Motion for handbooks,
A second.
second.
Well,
With the addition of
Yes.
The fees page with the band.
Yes.
Yes.
And Santa Fe Trail.
Yeah.
and Santa Fe Trail on the cover.
Yeah, well, they said they already made
Yeah.
changes. She had faced that she already did it, Laura, we already corrected.
Okay, all right.
Fast.
So, yeah.
So with that,
With that.
yes.
So with that, and you seconded
Yes,
it,
I will second that.
all in favor? Perfect. So that brings us to crisis plan.
The change we made, was adding the cardiac emergency response plan to the back, which will need to then get trained. So Kim will come in and train everybody at the beginning of the school year, with the AEDs and the response teams. We do need to change some names in there from the CERP that Kim originally had you guys approve earlier in the school year. So I will add Mike's name and take off a few teachers that were on the team and change those with whoever they want to add there. So I'll work with Kim and the principals on if they're replacing those teachers with someone new. So like, for example, Tyler Gonzalez was on the high school list, took him off. They want to replace that, but a new person, I'll just put a new teacher in there, whoever they want. Okay, so that's really about the biggest change in the crisis plan.
Faith, I was going through this the other day to try to make it for my crisis plan, and just on page 3, I'm gonna edit it to the PDF. 1A says red crisis hold. It just needs to be folded.
Oh, okay. Okay, page 3?
On mine, it says on mine.
Under communication of
Communication CERP 1A.
Okay. Got it. Got that note? Okay.
And then, my nurse's last name is spelled wrong, so I'll send that correct spelling to you. For
Right.
OAC, for our.
Oh.
Okay, do you wanna change the people and then have us approve it, or you wanna approve it with those changes too?
I think we can approve it and add people's names, because those names will really go on the flip charts. The flip charts are the main ones that matter. Those are the ones that go in all the crisis bags for all the teachers in their rooms. This is really just the big district one. These are not the ones that I'm gonna give to the teachers and hand out and have them go through a 30-page crisis plan. They're gonna have the flip charts that are the quick references to all these things: fire, intrusion, tornado. I think we can approve it, and I'll just add the names to it, and then we'll publish it.
Yeah, motion to approve the crisis plan, with the names corrected in it.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
And a second, all in favor? Great. Dr. Leverage, end of year fast food tab? Oh, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
fast food fees, I skipped over that. Sorry, I keep me alive.
He was getting excited about these.
I wanted to see the fast food.
Do you have any questions? Not a lot of changes. Kept lunch the same. I added down at the bottom the device repair fees. And if you have any questions on that, Andy's here as well. We can kind of talk through some of that, but
And there is a change on the device repair
Yeah,
fees that I just wanna make sure you guys see. The cases and the chargers are kind of some more of the common issues that we have. And they don't cost as much as we've been charging them, so I brought the price down to the right price for the kids, so.
and full replacement fees, we've had parents ask us where we come up with that number before, but Andy makes it comparable to the market price of those devices, so it's not like we're just making up a number, it's only
We buy them every year.
it's only a $200 device and we're charging $3, we're not making money off of it. I know we had some questions about that before, and so we've been able to prove this is how much we pay per device, and that's probably actually a smidge cheaper with tax and delivery and everything, but it's a fair price, so.
So we're really keeping all the fees the same.
Yep, except for
For the-
just that, yep, Yep.
Lowering.
Yeah.
Reducing.
Like it.
And the band.
In the band.
And the band's been approved, so what I'll do is I'll just take out those recommended changes, I'll take that column out, put all the fees listed in there, I'll add one little line there for band and put the band fees in there on that sliding scale that she gave us. So I'll just add that to that sheet, and they can add that to their handbooks. Does that work? You guys stick that in there? Yep, and I'll just add band at the bottom for those who need the band one, but you won't need it, or
Drivers ed.
not mine. No, but you can put the band one, I can leave the band one off yours, but give you that, and keep the band one for theirs.
And I don't need driver's ed, well, it's okay.
Yeah, I could probably make it more relevant.
Really, mine is tech and
We
enrollment.
don't have to.
We just,
How to do-
or it can be the same, and because half of my people go to Carbondale and have high school ones and
Yeah.
Maybe we talk
so
about
I
that.
think I just keep it.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Make a motion with the addition of band to approve fees as recommended.
Okay, motion,
Second.
second there, all in favor? Now we are ready for you.
Amy's gonna bring up some fast bridge data. Alright, so we're gonna start at pre-K. This is, just for, we just started fast bridge with preschool this school year, so we only have data for this school year. But it kind of shows you the growth that they made and doing really well. Any questions about preschool?
This is all kids. IEPs are not.
Yes.
But only 4-year-olds. Yeah, cause it is not for 3-year-olds.
And our team did really good. They were very nervous about doing this with our littles, but they did way better than I think they thought they would, so.
And I think kindergarten teachers will really appreciate this data because they have a jump start already.
Yeah.
That's great. Alright. And then here, so now what we'll see is data from the first year I got here till this spring, so 2022, up through this spring. And you're gonna see considerable growth in kindergarten first and second, which is what we're looking for, because that's where we've made a lot of big changes. We've got that new curriculum, we've done a lot with TASN, we've done a lot with MTSS. So we're giving our kids a very strong base, a very good foundation in reading. And the math is also growing, with the new Bridges curriculum and the MTSS and math as well. So we're very pleased with how that is looking. And we're almost to those perfect triangles that we want, up to 80%, about 15%, 5%. So we're so that's kindergarten. Here's first grade. Looks a lot better, less red. So reading looks good. Math is looking good too.
That looks great.
Yep. Again, this strong foundation, we're gonna see it's gonna continue to build and grow as our kids get into the upper grade levels. That's what we want. Grade. That's a nice growth there this year. Third grade. So now what we've discovered in our second, third, and grades up, they take what is called a CVM, which is a fluency test, and it's a 1-minute timed reading. And we have noticed across the district that our fluency is pretty low. And so we have started to implement some strategies across the district to help to improve that fluency. With that lower score in fluency, it's dropping our composite, our benchmark score overall in reading. So we're really hoping to address that fluency issue and see these scores improve as we go along with that. But some things that we've done is they have a getting the gist that they're doing in the classrooms where they have to read out loud with a partner and then they have to summarize what they read. They have just fluency partners where we're pairing them up based on their CVM scores with a partner that reads similar to them, and then they're reading and doing some fluency work with that. Like if their partner makes a mistake, they say stop and they point it out and then they correct the word together. We're also doing class-wide interventions. We're going to continue that this year for a class whose FastBridge benchmark median score is below the benchmark that we want to see. So before they move into intervention groups, they have to have, as a class, above the average of the benchmark score. So that's been really helpful too. So lots of interventions, still working with TASN this year, still focused on reading this year. And hopefully next year we'll move into the math. And then fourth grade, they had a great year, fourth grade. And then you can, this is easier to see where that, again, going back to the CVM fluency test, because you start out, let's say, the beginning of the year, the benchmark is 115 words per minute. By the end of the year, it's like 145 words per minute, which is a big, big jump. And so we kind of see that as scores bounce around a little bit, but still seeing growth.
So Carrie, on this data, when we're looking at data over time, we're looking at different kids and different grades over time. So is there a way for us to see the longitudinal data in FastBridge like we do with?
There's not, I have to make it.
We'd have to make it, okay.
And I do that
Because then we could follow the kids and see,
Yeah.
well, how are those group of cohort over time, as well as we also want to see our grades too, but that'd be just another tidbit we could kind of look at too. I love how it is with the state assessments. That's awesome to see that data. Wonder if Greenbush could watch that template together for us. Jennifer did that last one.
I was gonna say, it was only gonna decide if we wanted
Maybe
it.
Amy already has that template. Anyway, just a thought. Yeah, there you go.
Math for seventh grade.
That's great.
we definitely saw a very good trend of our tier 3 consistently, usually going down. And growing, moving some of those tier 3 kids into tier 2, moving some tier 2 kids into tier 1. Ninth grade. And then ninth grade is the last year that they are required by the state to take FastBridge unless they have not met benchmark, which we have 40% or above. So if they take FastBridge in ninth grade for reading and they meet the 40th percentile or above, they don't have to take the test anymore, which is a huge motivator for those students. They really, really appreciate that. This is also how we are going to begin implementing our intervention groups at the high school. It's the beginning of the year FastBridge score, seeing where they are, and then placing students at the high school in groups based on, is it comprehension? Is it based on fluency? Is it based on a phonics issue? What we're seeing right now in the spring data is a lot of fluency and a lot of comprehension. So we'll be working on those groups a lot. Students who have made benchmark or don't need intervention will go to groups that are working on grade level or above grade level, or working on enrichment things, working on some social emotional skills, working on some just all kinds of like how to organize your planner, how to, write an email, those kind of soft skills. So we'll be working on that with those students. But we're very excited because there aren't a lot of high schools right now that have a true MTSS program. So we already have people who are excited to come and watch us do this and see what it's like and come and tour and learn all about it. So we're excited to share that with the state as well. All right, and then we're gonna look at just Overbrook Attendance Center. So you can kind of see that. As a whole, the first one is just grades 2 and 3 in reading and then in math. And then below that is your math. Oh no, is early reading, sorry, and early math. Lots and lots of growth there. And then overall for Overbrook Attendance Center, Carbondale, I just did Overbrook, didn't we? So here is the reading and math as a whole building. And then high school, which is pretty much just ninth grade, and then our students who don't make the benchmark are included in this group as well. So we have 10th, 11th, 12th graders who are taking this that reading is hard for them. Sometimes math is hard for them too. And then district-wide. See overall, this is grades 2 through 12. Which again, it kind of skews the data for that 10th, 11th, 12th graders that are in there. Because that really ups our tier 2 and tier 3 levels there, but I still think it's important to see. And then below that is math. Oh, sorry. Thank you, early reading.
Yeah. A little bit.
And then if we go scroll, I think, over to math now, yes? Yeah.
Math's rocking.
Math, please.
Which is interesting. It used to be kind of flipped. Math was.
And then early math is below that. Definitely some positive things coming out right now, so we're pretty excited about it. As far as I know, we're still waiting on state assessments to get approved. I think they have found the norms. They're going to try and get that approved at the State Board of Education meeting. I'm not sure if that's the July meeting or the August meeting.
I'm hopeful for July.
And then as soon as that is approved at the board meeting, then we should get our scores in about 2 weeks afterwards. They have told us from the very beginning of last year that it would be fall before we get our state assessment scores. So that's kind of what I'm still thinking about too.
How about you as parents? I'm anxious.
What questions do you have about Fast Bridge or anything that I can do with that?
I'm just happy to see you.
Especially at the lower, like, KK,
Yeah.
fly.
Huge.
Yeah.
It's gonna make a big difference.
Well done, teachers and administrators. Good job.
Yes.
Well done.
Good job. Thank you.
Awesome.
Good job, everybody else on the math too.
Thanks for putting that data together.
Right.
That's great.
Okay.
Mike, you got a copy of that? We'll get you all that data. You got it? Okay.
Okay, update steering committee. Anybody have anything interesting there?
Michelle prepared for that.
Michelle? Amy, you're out there.
on YouTube. You got notes?
I have my notes.
She has her notes.
We talked a lot about the finances, right?
Yeah, it was mostly all Piper Sandler and HGK presenting, clarifying the why again, just making sure there's a good solid foundation there, and then talking out the financial piece of it, getting some numbers. That idea, I think people appreciated having just what are we talking about as even like a starting point here with different options and possibilities. And I think that was appreciated. Of course, then it sparks more questions and more clarification with it. I didn't have as many questions that I wrote down this time. Kind of looking for anything we spent time on.
I mean, it's.
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah, I
don't
think it's really just
Just
kind
a
of
lot of
going over
learning.
some of the information that we
Yeah, a lot
have
of
with
learning still.
what,
A lot of
you
good.
I didn't know
for
if
what the
anybody
cost, yeah, there wasn't a lot of discussion of.
We'll get into a little bit more nitty gritty this next meeting and the next one after and have some small group instructions, get some good feedback on the scenarios, on the money, on the dollars, where people are kind of sitting with that. This next meeting, we're also gonna we're gonna tour the problem areas of the high school that are on that big needs list for the high school, so they'll get to see that, and then we'll do some small group instructions, and we're gonna do some live polling of them. We'll have all the graphs and stuff up there, and we can ask questions, and they can live see what everybody in the group is thinking about each of the things that we're gonna ask them about. And then some small group discussion. So I got a lot of feedback that people want to sit with a group and just kind of talk through some things with the people at their table, or and get some feedback and thoughts, and then share that out with everybody. I think it helps when they get to bounce their ideas off everybody when we're doing the big group and we've got someone presenting. They're not like, what are you thinking about that? Or like, do you understand that? So we're gonna give them a little time to discuss and try to, filter through all the things they're learning and then ask questions and provide more feedback. So we'll continue to get feedback, and as we get it too, we can bring all that data to the board as well.
And Andy has the reconfiguration stuff on the website, so if you guys want to see it, all the notes, all the handouts, all that stuff, the electronic.
I think it was
There for you.
helpful too to get to learn like more about what buckets different money is coming from and what it can be used for, and like just some clarification there with terminology and just understanding that.
And I gave a small one-sheeter just on some expenses. You guys have seen the big one. I kind of consolidated it a little bit. Andy helped me put it on a smaller format and just put some important numbers down based on how much does it cost for staffing here? How much does it cost for utilities here, for technology, for whatever? And if we move, could we absorb some of those positions? That would cut costs for us. If we would cut obviously utilities of certain places, or what percentages of capital outlay do we typically spend on each building, things like that. So just to give them, I didn't want to overwhelm them with too much, I couldn't even get in the weeds with that, but just some general overall information on those things. And not all these things will be cost savings if we maintain some of them. Some of them could potentially be cost savings depending on where we go, what we do. So depending on the scenarios. Especially with personnel.
Thanks for going.
Yeah, they've been good.
Yeah.
We've had some good, also strong conversations too that have been, I think, needed just to get out a little bit of our emotions on a couple things. Had some good conversations, I think, with some strong opinions, but I think it was needed to just kind of get it out, get those thoughts and feelings out, because there's a lot of strong feelings about when you're talking school closures, when you're talking about a bond, when you're talking about money. There's a lot of emotions surrounding all those things, and everybody's got different experiences. So I thought that was really good that the group was airing out some just opinions and thoughts and getting those out. I think those are needed, and that will help us get closer to an end goal for you guys.
Anything else?
Our next meeting is next Thursday at 6 at the high school. I'll put out a reminder to everybody, and I'm gonna put out another newsletter about what the last meeting was about, remind them that we have one coming up. We are announcing the meetings to the public, at the steering committee's meeting, being very transparent about what they're meeting. So thought about putting together maybe I talked to HTK about this, I don't know what you guys think, but thought it might be good, I'm doing all this communication about it, but it might be good for the steering committee to maybe put some talking points together that they would like me to put out about what this committee's doing, and maybe get some feedback from them on kind of a communication plan, so the greater community can hear what they want this group to, what they're doing and what they want them to hear, what they want the public to know beyond just what I'm putting out. So I think maybe the steering committee kind of leading some of that communication as well might be helpful. I thought I'd talk to the group about that next meeting.
So one thing they did bring, Piper Sandler or Haley might have researched, I'm not sure, but the county provided the percentages of where the money comes from in the bond, right? So like 50% was residential, 40% was ag, and 10% commercial. Right, so as you're looking at that, where there was a question was posed, well, most of it, it's the farmers, most of the farmers are homeowners as well, right? So 50% of it being residential, 40 ag, and 10 commercial, was the breakdown. So.
I thought it was good, interesting information.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. Yeah, so it was nice for them. I mean, it just kind of shows the depth that they're going to try to answer the questions and some of the things that are coming up, so it's just good. And I like the chart that you had on the enrollment. I mean, it was just a snapshot of the historical and projected enrollment, from 02 to 2030.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of questions about what if we grow, what if we get bigger, what are we gonna do, are we gonna run out of room, and I've got 30 plus years of data that are not showing that trend. They've showed some years of stability or just kind of, here, but I mean, it kind of is what it is unless we've got some ginormous boom that I don't know about may come economically, but we've even had that happen around us and it hasn't driven our enrollment up. I think the population piece, I was listening to the news this morning about the overall global population and in the US is just, historically low. So people are just not having as many kids, and part of that's a big piece of this. So
another question that I think I was a little, I don't know if I had a great idea in my mind either, was how many students within our district are homeschooled as opposed to coming to school, and it was not as big of a percentage, not as many as I kind of maybe thought it was. So that was good to also know, just to put some perspective there too, because sometimes that's a misunderstanding that is shared widely.
Sure. And HTK did a little kind of statistical on how many families it would take to move in with an average amount of kids per family to make our grade levels need to go back to 4 teachers per grade level with class sizes at this, and it was like 170 families would need to move into the district, and 2 kids per family, to really increase the amount that we would need to keep it, maintain what we're at,
To justify
to
another
justify a
section
of each grade level.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I don't even know where they would live, but even if that was out of district kids coming in, that's still a ton of families, 2 kids per family on average. So it's, the data's hard to see and hard to realize, but it is kind of what it is, and we just need to plan for it accordingly, so.
Okay. Are we ready to move on? Okay. Negotiations, executive session, how much time?
Yep, what do you need, Justin?
15.
15?
I say 15, yeah. Do we need to demonstrate? Do they want to hang out?
If everybody's okay, you guys can go enjoy your evening. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
I'll see you later.
Everybody but the new guy. New guy.
Policies, don't forget your policies. Have your policies. Thank you, Austin.
She's your.
Okay.
All right, Mr. President, I will be going to executive session to discuss negotiations pursuant to the exception for employer.
That's what she said.
Okay.
And the open meeting will resume
I'm
at
ready.
7:23.
Formatting.
I'm not going to. Do you want me to bring? I'm having a.
Motion.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
And the
Perfect.
Dan's going on the fees.
23.
Whenever you can.
Cause I just went back.
I know, and Stephanie can get anything.
But then I heard, she was gonna have it, and then I heard her say, so you guys.
Thank you. Well, that's why.
So that's why I leaned over and said, well, we go today?
I'm taking out all my highlights.
She's. I got mine squared away, I just, I thought we were having.
Well, it took me 4 hours to figure out.
Just to edit your photos.
Just say something from but I got it.
Everything going on.
Hey,
You just saw.
I did not put her.
You don't wanna do that now?
Oh my God, right, Gil. Alright, I'll be here for a
No,
minute.
you have to
I
say.
have.
They passed mine, I'll check mine.
Okay, you do have, if it didn't change, you do have a year on it. I don't, it's so small, I don't know that it matters, but, yeah.
Okay, Amy, I got a
Well,
question.
it was on the very front page.
Are they in a
It
hurry
is on the free.
or
Oh,
are they just that
No.
now with the handbooks?
I'm not in any hurry because if it hasn't changed, it's a quick update.
Yeah.
Compared to last year?
I do.
Well, last year we had two
Right.
different
Thank you.
numbers on it.
I do realize that, but I feel like.
This year, I did try to make it easier for them. I found them separately and they're talking about the heading. Well, the heading was put in by me for, I said OAC 25-26 instead of running 7 handbooks, one right after another. 'Cause then they're like, I don't know what page I'm on. So I put the heading on, it's just a header. So that when they flipped through, they could see, oh, this is the Overbrook handbook, et cetera. So,
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't know.
So 7 more minutes?
Me,
No,
Got it.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, as far as, 3 Lakes report, not a lot going on in the summer. We have our negotiations coming up. Nothing's been done, unless you have something to add to that.
No.
That's about it.